Hi, today I'm going to show you this great little microwave bowl cozy, and you probably have seen them, and there's free patterns and there's patterns that you can pay for. But what Renee did at Renee's House of Quilting is she pre-cut these using her AccuQuilt, die that cuts the fabric and the batting so that you can just start. Obviously directions come with it, and it also tells you what die to use and what size fabric you need if you are cutting your own. But you can go to Renee's, and like I said, the kit that she sells makes 2 of these bowls, and the directions are as follows. So what I did, the first thing that they want you to do is they want you to quilt these 2 pieces, the outside and the inside. And they tell you to mark it, draw a diagonal line, but you know me, I got to do everything the fast way. So what I did was I took this piece of fabric and folded it right sides together, and then I pressed it, so that gave me a line, and I pressed it the other way so that I had a diagonal line. Okay, so that's what I'm going to sew on when I quilt this together. The next thing that I did was, this is just a piece of foam core board, obviously well used, and I placed the piece of batting on it, and then I'm just going to very lightly spray it with the basting spray. The next thing that you want to do, now this is the sticky side, the side that I sprayed of my batting. This is the wrong side of my fabric. I'm going to place that against the batting. You can see I left it folded in half. That's just so that you have less that you have to try to smooth out. If you only have half a piece, then you only have half of it that you have to smooth out. You just lay that on there, line up the fabric with the edges of the batting, smooth it out, and then be sure you have the walking foot on your machine. That'll make quilting these little pieces much easier. So what I did was I just stitched right along those lines that I pressed. So you have a big X. You do that on both pieces, on the inside and on the outside. You're going to fold that right sides together along that V. You start 1/4 inch from up here, and then you're going to stitch on an angle till you stitch all the way off. You want to make sure that you back stitch when you start and back stitch when you stop, and you're going to do that for all 4 of those darts on both pieces. Let me go over that again. This is what the side looks like. It has that V already cut in it. You fold that right sides together, and then when you do that, you have an angle. You're going to start 1/4 inch from the top, sew all the way down, and sew actually right off the end. Make sure you back stitch at each start and stop. When you have all 4 darts sewn, you're going to actually have shaped the bowl, the finished shape that it's going to be. So this is what it looks like when you stitch it. See how you start at the top, back stitch, and cut off at an angle down here and back stitch. The next step is to turn one of them right side out. This happens to be the lining, and then you're going to place that right sides together with the outside piece. So here's the outside piece, here's the inside piece. I matched up those darts and I placed it right sides together. Now I'm going to offset those darts just like you would when you're putting a block together in a quilt. You put one seam one way, the other seam the other way. So can you see here? This seam goes this way and the top seam goes the other way. That's the way I'm going to pin it, so that those kind of nest together, plus there's not so much bulk on one side if you had them going the same way. Okay, I'm ready to seam these 2 together. You use a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and when I go around a curve, I cannot rely on the marks that are on my sewing machine bed. So what I do is I have this cute little gauge, measuring gauge, anything will work, and I marked a 3/8 inch seam on this curve so that when I am going along I can use the marks on my sewing machine bed. When I get here, then I follow the blue line. So I've sewn this together on all 4 sides, leaving that 2.5 inch opening that it tells you in the directions. But what I wanted you to see is when you start, you're going to start right at the edge, sew down to your 3/8 of an inch line, and then go around. When you're done, you're going to come, again, this is your 3/8 of an inch seam allowance line, and then you're going to make a left turn and come right out. So instead of just ending right here, you actually sew off of the seam allowance on both sides. The next step before turning it right side out is to take pinking shears, and you're going to trim this outside corner and the inside, so it's going to look like that. So see, I trimmed the outside corners and I trimmed the inside corners. Then you're going to turn it right side out. Once you have it turned right side out, take your point turner, put it in that opening that you left for turning, and then you're just going to go around and poke out those corners all the way around. So this is the opening, and remember I had you start at the outside and sew down to the 3/8 inch and sew off on the other side. See how it automatically is going to turn that opening in for you right at the 3/8 inch line. So then I'm going to take this, I'm going to press it, and then I'm going to top stitch it. So I'm going to press it real good on both sides, make sure that I poke those darts into each other so that it shapes it. Press it real good, top stitch it, and there you go. You have a really nice gift. Or I really like oatmeal and let's see, malto meal and cream of wheat, that kind of stuff. Or even a bowl of soup. Just set it in your little holder here, stick it in the microwave, and when you're done, you've got something to hang on to and you don't burn yourself. So in the description below, I will put the link so that you can email Renee. These kits are $10.99. Like I said, they come pre-cut, and it makes 2 of these. So these 2 bowls came from 1 kit. If you have your discount coupon through, gee, you can't see me. If you have your discount coupon through the Winter Club, then that gives you 15% off of $10.99, which is roughly $1 something. So just email Renee, and she can either set this outside her store for you or put it in the mail. So I wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.